From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, the Obama administration has announced plans to block development in roughly 9.8 million acres of water in the Beaufort and Chukchi Seas north of Alaska.
A draft proposal released earlier today includes 14 potential lease sales, 3 of which are near Alaska. However, Interior Secretary Sally Jewell called specific waters of the Arctic Ocean too special for offshore oil development. U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski called today's announcement another sign the administration is determined to shut down oil and gas production in Alaska's federal areas. Alaska's state government is funded for the most part through oil and gas production taxes. At a press conference in Juneau today, Alaska Governor Bill Walker said he will submit an invoice to the Interior Department to fund education and health and social services in Alaska, adding that he is not just disappointed by today's announcement.
I'm very angry. Disappointed is when you get something that you thought you were going to get and you don't get it. Anger is when someone takes something away from you that was yours to begin with. So I'm very angry. It's the most egregious form of overreach that I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I remember I was for statehood at a young age. I have to sort of rethink that.
The North Star Volunteer Fire Department responded to a report of a shooting early this afternoon in North Pole. Alaska State Troopers confirmed one person had been taken to the hospital with injuries after what they referred to as an incident. The alleged shooting occurred at a residence on Horseshoe Way off Badger Road shortly after 11 a.m. North Star Volunteer Fire Department confirmed the victim was a male who was shot in the stomach. The Alaska Bureau of Investigations and state troopers are investigating.
A North Pole man accused of felony assault and weapons misconduct was in Fairbanks Superior Court this afternoon after being indicted on more charges. 35-year-old Jerome Phillips Jr., who was still in custody, pleaded not guilty to a single count of vehicle theft. Phillips is also accused of shooting at a man in Esther last November. According to troopers, after they searched the cabin where the shooting occurred, the structure was set on fire. Phillips is a suspect in that case as well, but no charges have been filed thus far. Trial for his case was set for April.
A Fairbanks teenager was back in court this afternoon, this time accompanied by his third-party custodian. 18-year-old Eric Semikin, recently released on assault and vehicle theft charges, now faces 5 additional charges, including another 2 counts of vehicle theft. Court documents say Semikin stole a pickup truck from a residence in Tanana. The victim of the theft followed Semikin and had to physically remove him from the truck to get it back. Prosecution said Semikin was a danger to the public and that he had even made threats to law enforcement. Now, in his most recent case, Semikin is accused of stealing a City of Tanana vehicle and slashing numerous tires throughout the village. Trial for his case set for April.
A man accused of entering a home and damaging items with a sledgehammer pleaded not guilty today in Fairbanks Superior Court. 33-year-old Sean Corsi faces burglary and felony assault charges in connection with the December incident. Court documents say Corsi entered the residence while the occupants were asleep. He then destroyed items, including a TV, with the hammer. The homeowners were able to subdue Corsi until law enforcement arrived. Troopers say he later told them he had entered the residence intending to harm the property and its occupants. Trial for his case was set for April.
All right, when we come back, the governor appointed 4 new members to the Board of Regents for the University of Alaska.
Also at the chamber luncheon today, a director for the Alaska Energy Authority says even though the economy for the state is slow, all projects are moving forward. Stay with us.
And welcome back. Bo Bergdahl, the Army sergeant who was held captive by the Taliban for 5 years, will be charged with desertion. That's according to a senior defense official. Bergdahl disappeared from his base in Afghanistan while deployed there from Alaska with Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson Infantry Division. The Army is expected to charge Bergdahl for allegedly leaving his post in eastern Afghanistan in 2009 to avoid hazardous duty or important service. According to one senior official, Bergdahl's actions go well beyond the lesser offense of AWOL or absent without leave. The charges will apparently not allege that Bergdahl left with the intent never to return.
He deserted not only the Army, but he also left myself and my platoon and my company to clean up his mess.
They're going to try to say that, yes, he did leave, but he didn't intend to desert. He didn't intend to join the enemy. He simply was going AWOL for a limited period, and they might throw in something that he was captured, and therefore, against his will, he was not able to return.
Governor Walker appointed 4 appointees yesterday to the 11-member University Board of Regents. One of those names was John Davies, who currently sits on the Borough Assembly. Now, Davies served 10 years in the Alaska legislature and has spent the past 12 years working as a researcher at the Cold Climate Housing Research Center. He is also a former state seismologist and research associate for the UAF Geophysical Institute. Other names submitted yesterday include Andy Tuber of Kodiak, Sherry Beretta of Anchorage, and Lisa Parker of Soldotna.
With the drop in the price of fuel worldwide, Alaskans are reportedly a little nervous about what kind of effect the decrease will have on energy projects in the interior. Today at the weekly Chamber of Commerce luncheon, Jean Theriault, Deputy Director for the Alaska Energy Authority, stated that all programs are pushing ahead. Now, this includes not only the intertie line from South Central Alaska, but also the trucking of natural gas from the North Slope. Theriault went on to say that the governor is very empathetic about seeing those programs move forward.
Well, the governor indicated at his comments to the Golden Valley Board of Directors that he hoped to have something that would have an actual impact by next winter. So that means, the winter beginning, in October, November of this year. That's very aggressive, and we'll be working as much as we can with them, with the utilities, to make sure that that can be delivered. The utilities then have plans on how they build out their system and actually get that resource to the consumer.
We reported earlier this week that staff at the Fairbanks Memorial Hospital are using cutting-edge technology to perform neuro and spinal surgeries. Jamie Schwartzwald has more now in this week's Health Report.
The intraoperative CT scan and navigation technology is a very new concept in neuromedicine. There are only 12 machines like this operating in the United States. The third procedure completed with this technology in the country was performed right here in Fairbanks.
We didn't go out looking to be the first to have something, but the timing was perfect. We're making a major technology investment that's going to take us through multiple years for the community.
The Brain Lab device came with a price tag of roughly $1 million. Having this type of technology locally is fine, so long as there is staff qualified to operate it.
You do need the right technology for the right patient at the right time, and you need the people that can operate it. The nurses, technologists, and the physicians and surgeons are key to the process.
Meet Dr. John Lopez, one of few surgeons in the nation qualified to operate the device that gives real-time CT patient imaging during procedures. Dr. Lopez relocated to Fairbanks specifically because of the Hospital Foundation's purchase of this device.
I wanted to take what I was doing in Colorado to the next level with this new technology. I used the technology that predates this in Colorado. I knew this was coming out, I was aware about it, and I wanted to, with this move, expand my practice and how I do things.
He describes the difference between the former technology used in brain or spinal surgeries and this latest form of intraoperative scan technology.
It was not an actual real CT scan. It was a type of X-ray called a fluoroscopy machine that performed a three-dimensional scan, but the sensitivity of how the vertebrae looked was not as good. So this is I have a much better idea of the anatomy during a surgery than I do with the prior technology.
Jamie Schwartzwald, News Center 11.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building. Call 456-7768.
Very interesting to know that we have that type of equipment right here at our fingertips in Fairbanks.
It's very nice to know.
Very nice to know.
All right, coming up, the Nana Corner and a look ahead to this week's sports schedule.
Joe Cook is next with sports after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook back again with Tuesday Sports for today. It's Nana Corner Tuesday, and we get reacquainted with the team we haven't seen in action in a long time. Here's more on the UAF swim team.
January 6th was the last time the UAF swim team swam against someone in different colors. After a Willamette University win and a long training period, Alaska will get all they can handle this weekend. They host Division I Loyola Marymount. The Lions are coming off losses last week in California. They're also standing in the way of one of the Nanak's goals.
Well, we always set a goal off the start of the season to win the majority of our dual meets, and so in order to do that, we do have to win this weekend. So I think our team's pretty motivated to try our best to beat them.
The Lions are bringing 19 of their best to Alaska's 13. but this team feels they'll be highly competitive despite those numbers.
Our girls are strong. We are as strong as we've been. This is the 10th year of our program, and there's no question this is our best year ever. So we're going to give them a run for their money.
I think our depth is our biggest strength. We have a lot of girls that can swim a lot of races, and our relays are really strong this year.
We will see them again in just a matter of weeks down in Long Beach. So we're interested in kind of assessing their strength, seeing who they are, and that'll really help us compete against them. They've won our conference before. They've been the #1 women's team in our conference, so we expect them to be a lot of competition this weekend and then 3 weeks from now.
This is the last regular season meet before the PCSE Championships in mid-February. The meet starts Friday night at 6 and 10:30 Saturday morning at the Patty Center Pool.
Nanook Corner, brought to you by Sports Medicine Fairbanks.
And the Alaska swim team won't be the only team performing this week. The #2 ranked UAF rifle team will be back in the E.F. Horton rifle range after 2 weeks off. They'll shoot against #1 West Virginia in a critical regular season finale. This is a rematch of last year's national final and the first meeting between the two teams this season since that national final. Now the basketball teams, they are on the road this week. The women's squad will be at last place NNU on Thursday, and then they will end their trip against Central Washington on Saturday. The men's team, they will go to Canada for a date with the clan of Simon Fraser on Thursday. They return to the States to play Western Washington Saturday. Then next Saturday, UAF will invade the Alaska Airlines Center to face the Seawolves. And here are some 4A prep hockey game results from over the weekend. Lathrop, they won 2-1 over East Anchorage Saturday afternoon. Hayden Masterson and Josh Clifton scored for the Malamutes. Freshman netminder Amelia Helms-Leslie gets the win in net for the Mutes. Lathrop is 2-2 in their last 4 games. Before that, they were 1-9 in 10 games. West Valley won 6-2 over Eagle River, finishing their Anchorage road trip 2-1, and they are now 12-5 overall. North Pole, they fall to South Anchorage 5-2. The Patriots dropped to 10-8 on the year. North Pole will host Lathrop Thursday at the Polar Ice Center for a pivotal MAC matchup. The Lathrop wrestling team finished the regular season with the win on Saturday. The Malamutes took down the West Valley Wolfpack 53-27 in the season finale, winning 10 weight classes. Micah E. won the 98-pound class. Caden Ott in the 120, and Jason Riggs won the 138-pound class for Lathrop. West Valley's Joey Frissalone took the win in the 160-pound class, while Jordan Ott came out on top in the 113-pound class. The MAC championships are this Saturday at West Valley High School. And that transitions us into what's on tap for high school sports this week. For some, it's the last week of the regular season. So as I mentioned, West Valley will host this year's Mid-Alaska Conference Wrestling Championships on Saturday. This will also be the last week of regular season high school hockey. Thursday, Delta and Hutch play at 3 o'clock. Lathrop visits North Pole, while West Valley, they will host Colony. The Knights will play Lathrop on Friday. And Saturday, the Dog Bowl on ice. West Valley and Lathrop, they will close out the regular season. In the Greatland Conference, Monroe, they could win the regular season title if they beat Delta in Delta Junction on Wednesday. The Huskies, they will play Hutch on Thursday for their last regular season games. Monroe will end their season with a non-conference games against Juneau on Friday and Saturday. Now, high school hoops, Lathrop and West Valley, they will meet for the second time this Thursday at West Valley. The Galena Hawks, they will visit North Pole for a non-conference meeting before they have a 2-game series at Hutchinson Friday and Saturday. And for the skiers, Friday will be the high school 3 o'clock night race at Birch Hill, which starts the last weekend of action before regionals next weekend. And that'll do it for Sports Tonight. Your full weather forecast is next with Mike Schultz, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, recovering from a cold, and we're going to be recovering from the cold temperatures as the warmer air is expected to move in toward the weekend. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. Now, not playing favorites here, but my wife sent me this photograph, and I had to share it with you because it's pretty cool. It's 2 sun dogs. There's the main area, the sun right there. One reflection over here and one reflection over here, shooting through the windshield of her car, and it was kind of cool to share with you. We get that often when we have ice crystals around. And as always, if you have a photograph you want to share, by all means send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Your almanac looks like this. Currently 31 degrees below zero. The high today 28 below, if you can call that a high. The overnight low last night 43 below. Record high 39, 1945, 58 below in 1933. Sunrise and sunset, 6.5 hours of daylight, exactly a gain of 6 minutes from yesterday. On our satellite and radar, all the energy is way down in the Gulf of Alaska. It's starting to slowly creep to the north, which is indicating that the high pressure is starting to weaken a little bit and move off to the east. And as it does, that will allow the winds to turn a little more to the from the south, bringing the warmer temperatures in. But until that happens, we got a little more cold temperatures the next couple of nights, but not quite as cold as it has been. What's going on across the rest of the state? Over southeast Alaska, rain falling around Ketchikan, just cloudy skies at Juneau, 30 degrees there. In the Anchorage Bowl, they're getting some cold temperatures for them too, 9 degrees for their high. And Kodiak looking at mixed rain and snow, 38. Up and down the west coast, temperatures in the single digits, 11 degrees below zero at Barrow, but 45 below in Fort Yukon. How often do you see that? Lower 48 weather over the Pacific Northwest. The rains have returned over Seattle, 52 degrees there. Look at Denver, 75 degrees in the middle of winter, and Dallas at 78. While it's chilly in Minneapolis, 33 degrees. What a contrast, and 40-degree temperature there. And of course, over the northeast, that's where all the weather's happening. You can see it on their satellite and radar. There's the area of low pressure that brought the tremendous snows around Boston, close to almost 2.5 feet, not quite 2 feet. As you can see here, more clouds and rain and moisture moving in on the west coast, so the weather patterning is starting to show signs of change. And the temperatures, look at the temperatures for tomorrow. 78 degrees Oklahoma City, 81 at Wichita Falls, Texas, and 73 degrees in Wichita, Kansas. So really some wild temperature changes there going on. Okay, what's going on for tomorrow in the northern sections of Alaska? Well, it looks like this. Looking at wind chills for Barrow, partly cloudy skies for Nome, and clear with patchy ice fog for Fort Yukon, 40 below for their high tomorrow. Over the interior, for the most part, clear and cold with patchy ice fog across the region, 23 below for the high in the Fairbanks area. Over southeast Alaska, 2 to 3 inches of snow expected for Juneau, and periods of rain in Ketchikan. Just last week, they were getting flooded with all types of rainfall. Over the southwest part of the state, looking at chance of rain for Cold Bay, mixed rain and snow for Kodiak, and partly cloudy skies for Bethel. And over the south central regions in the Anchorage Bowl, partly cloudy skies will be the rule across the region, with 17 degrees expected for the high in Anchorage. Once again, time for our kids' weather. And this week we're talking with the kids from Two Rivers School. And tonight, here's a young lady with an interesting picture to share with you.
This is my weather picture. I chose to do this because I like snowstorms and the aurora a lot, so snowstorms was my favorite weather thing, weather, and I love the aurora because it's colorful. So, and I'd love being where I live.
I like snowstorms and auroras too, so we share something in common. Thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. And tomorrow night, we'll have a young man here with a question about hurricanes. Okay, here's your forecast. For the remainder of the night, continued severe cold with patchy dense ice fog, 42 below at the airport. Colder in the low-lying areas. As far as tomorrow's forecast, a little bit of a rebound. Patchy ice fog, not quite as cold, 23 below. And then the good news, as you see on the 5-day here, we're looking at temperatures once again to continue to warm up toward the weekend. And that is not the right temperatures. That is not the right graphic. That thing has gone crazy on me. We're not going to see 45 degrees. We'd love to see 45 degrees, but we're not going to see that. So we'll get that fixed up for you and let you know that we are looking at temperatures near 5 above by Sunday. Interesting graphic. It's something we like to see, but it's not going to work out that way. No way.
So just to be clear, it's going to be maybe 0 to 5 by Sunday.
Below.
Yes, exactly.
No, above.
Oh, I thought it was below.
Above.
0 to 5 above by Sunday.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was wild.
We can only wish for 45.
Yes, exactly.
All right, thanks, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, last night's blizzard leaves Massachusetts buried under feet of snow. That's next with Brian Williams.
Wow, that's a lot of snow they got too. Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a great night. Stay warm.
Good night.